What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I hope y'all are having a great day. And man, thank you God for another day and opportunity. And y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, man, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. Can we hit 50 likes on this video? Be sure to go ahead and share it with your family and friends. And last, but definitely not least, comment down below right now. Today, we got the Warriors and the Celtics about to play a Game 6. Who's going to take this W? Will the Warriors end it off tonight being the 2022 NBA Finals champions? Or will the Celtics take it to a Game 7? Let me know what y'all think down below right now. But let's go ahead and get into the making of the most rare and best all-around balanced scorer build. So, when it comes down to what we're going to be making this build out of, go with the shooting guard position. When it comes down to the height, I'm going to go with 6'5". As for the weight, you definitely want to go ahead and drop this to the lowest possible that you can go. Then from there, bring it back up and you're going to go around 179 for the weight. Once it comes down to the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'2", and as for the weight, I would say anywhere around the 170 range is going to be perfect. If you feel like making your own adjustments, you definitely can do so. But again, just know this should all be based off your own preference and the best possible way that you feel comfortable with going about the numbers. Now, for the body shape, I would highly recommend builds just so that way we are able to take up the most possible space when it comes down to playing defense. Now, as for what we're going to be looking like when it comes down to the main attributes on this build, just be sure to follow along when it comes down primarily to the physicals as well as these attributes. So I'm going to go with a speed of 93, acceleration going to go up to an 87, and when it comes down to our vertical, we're going to be able to get contact dunks on this build, so go with at least a 70, and that's going to allow us to unlock the pro contact dunks. As for the stamina, I do like to go with the threshold of 90, but if you do feel like going with anything higher than what I'm showing y'all, you definitely can do so. Now, when it comes down to our defensive rebound, I'm going to bring this up to an 83. As for the offensive, this is going to be brought up to a 66. Now, when it comes down to our block, I'm going to go with the 70. You can max it out if you want to, but that does risk changing the build name. Now, as for our steal, I'm going to go somewhere around the 70s range, and 79 is going to be perfect for me. And then once we go ahead and get into the perimeter defense, go with the 77, and then you can go ahead and max out your interior defense if you want to, but just know that's going to bring up your strength just a little bit. So I'm going to go with the 32 strength and then a 57 interior defense. And as you can see, the badges that we do unlock for the defensive end are very solid. We're still only a 60 overall, and we're going to be able to be pretty balanced in all three of the remaining areas. So, for the speed with ball, I'm going to bring this up to an 83. As for when it comes down to the ball handle, I'm going to go with an 80, and then for the pass accuracy, this should all be based off your own preference, but I'm going to go with the 65, and that's going to bring us up to a total of 22 badges. Now, for the free throw, I'm going to go somewhere around a 91, and that's going to allow us to really take this build into any game mode. When it comes down to the three-pointer, max this out at an 82, and then for the mid-range, go with an 81, and you're going to be able to maintain 25 total shooting badges. Now, this is just the beginning of what this build is going to be able to do. Once we go ahead and get into the takeovers, really going to take this build to the next level, especially when it comes down to specifically which takeover you decide to go with. Now, for the finishing, I'm going to go with the 90 driving dunk, max out the driving layup to an 80, and go with the 51 close shot. And we're going to have 18 finishing badges, 25 shooting, 22 playmaking, with a total of 23 defensive. Now, everything on this build is super balanced, especially when it comes down to what we're going to be looking like for the offensive end. Now, I'm pretty happy with the animations that we were able to unlock because we did go with at least an 84 all the way up to a 92 driving dunk, and that's what allows us to get the pro or the elite contact dunks. But as long as for this build you did go with the 70 vertical, we're going to be able to get the pro contact dunks. When it comes down to the takeovers, we get the lockdown, sharpshooting, shot creating, and the slashing. So just know, whichever takeover you decide to pick. This should all be based off your own preference and what you feel most comfortable with. So for my liking, I would have to say Limitless range is going to be the first takeover that I would pick if I'm trying to be more comp with this build. If you want more contact dunks, go with finishing moves, and if you want to break ankles as well as get a mid-range shot boost, go with ankle breaking shots takeover. The sharpshooting and the lockdown is what I'm going to run with, and as y'all can see, we were able to create the best with the most badges. Balanced score build. Now, once we go ahead and take it into what we're going to be looking like with this build at 99 overall, you have to consider a few different things. If you run with teammates that do have floor general and defensive leader on the Hall of Fame category, add a +4 to all areas of this build, but consider that gym rat badge. That's going to give us a +4 to our physicals, so +4 all around. If you did decide to buy a boost on this build, that's going to be a +8 in total, including with the team takeover. That's going to give us an even bigger boost, so +10 to depending on which takeover you did pick. So for this build, I did pick the sharpshooting takeover with the lockdown, which means we get a +10 to our shooting and defensive area. However, if you did pick the slashing takeover, add a +10 to your finishing as well. But I'm telling you, in takeover, we do have the potential to get a 99 mid-range shot, 3-pointer, and when it comes down to the defensive end, most of these stats will have the potential to go into the 90s, but I do know that for the defensive rebound, this has the potential to hit a 99 in takeover. Now, remember, the way that I went about making this build was primarily based off my own preference, but I did make sure that I was going back and forth with making sure that I was able to maintain the balanced scorer build name. I did have to go back and forth with a few different attributes to make sure that I knew what I would actually work with to get this build name. So if you did go over a little bit on the perimeter defense, mid-range shot, or even the playmaking, you probably got a different build name, but if you followed along how I told y'all, you're definitely in good hands. Now, the two main badges that I would pick for the finishing would be Posterizer as well as Limitless Takeoff. However, if you want to go about it differently, go ahead and test the waters. But let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the shooting. So, I'm going to go with Silver, Deadeye, as well as Green Machine. Now, Deadeye is honestly a very solid badge to use, especially when defenders are closing out. From there, I'm going to go with Hot Zone Hunter as well as Hall of Fame Sniper and Gold Corner Specialist. As for the blinders, I'm going to go with Silver on that badge. You can definitely go ahead and put it on Bronze if you wanted to, but I really feel like spreading the wealth when it comes down to the shooting is one of the best things that you can do when it comes down to the badge counts. I like to do that because it does boost your shooting percentages in other areas of the shooting aspect. But when it comes down to the playmaking, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go with first, Handles for Days on Silver. Now, we still got a good amount of badges remaining for each area of this build, so that is why I have to say I feel like this build name goes perfect with how it's able to play, and especially with what it's able to do, including the fact that we're able to dribble pretty well on this build, get that lockdown takeover, and still be able to get contact dunks. Makes it one of the best rare builds to use. But as you can see, when it comes down to the playmaking, I like to run Gold Quick First Step as well as Bronze Unpluckable. Then, of course, I'm going to throw on Hyperdrive as well as Quick Chain both on Silver. I personally do like to run Bailout on Bronze at least. If I could go with the higher tier, I definitely would do so. But again, that is just a really slept on badge in my opinion, especially if you're running 5v5 or 3v3. Makes a huge difference. Now, as for the defensive end, I'm going to go with Intimidator on Silver as well as Rebound Chaser. So with the 17 remaining badges, make sure you pick badges that are based off of your own playstyle. For my liking, I'm going to go with Chase Down Artist on Silver as well as Bronze Rim Protector. Then I'm going to add in Clamps as well as Gold Pogo Stick. Now, we have 5 remaining badges. So if you feel like changing any of the tiers of badges that I currently have on, you definitely can do so, or if you want to spread the wealth like I'm showing y'all right here. That is another way to go about making this build when it comes down to the loadout. But I have to say, as long as you feel comfortable with the badges that you pick, everything will work out if you're basing it off of your own playstyle. Now, if you want to, I would go with Silver Box, and then to wrap it up, you can upgrade one of the tiers of badges, or you can go with Pickpocket or even Worm. But this is the setup that I'm going to run with: 23 defensive badges, 22 playmaking, we get 25 shooting with 18 finishing, and consider the extra 7 badges since we are in season 7, and this build has more potential unlocked than I'm showing y'all right here. But man, I just want to say thank you to those of you who made it to the end. I love y'all. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a blessed day. But man, with all that being said, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. And anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, man, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. Hit that like button. I'm trying to reach 50 likes on this video today, and I got a face reveal dropping for y'all this month. So man, with all that being said, thank you. Thank God for another day and opportunity. And Rich out.